Hi, my name is Stephanie Farrington, and I'm here to introduce you to 3 books that I read over summer that was very interesting, and I enjoyed them a whole lot. My 3 books were Bud Not Buddy, A Wrinkle in Time, and My Brother Sam is Dead. The first book we're going to talk about is Bud Not Buddy. This story takes place in Flint and Grand Rapids, Michigan, in the 1930s during the Great Depression. Some of the major characters in the story include Buddy Caldwell. Buddy Caldwell is the absolute soul of the novel. We're ready. He's a little 10-year-old African-American orphan boy who has seen and suffered through a great deal in his short 10 years, but he is definitely a survivor. His determination to find his father and his ability to use his survival skills to do so make him an heroic character for the reader. Another character was Mr. Herman E. Calloway. He is the band leader of a Depression-era Negro band whom Bud believed was his father. He turns out to be a rather cranky old man who doesn't trust Bud and acts mean to nearly everyone he meets. He is actually a very sad man who yearns for the daughter he drove away, with his need to be for her to be what he wanted her to be. Another very important character, Angela Janet Caldwell. Although she has died before the story begins, her character is a very real presence for most of the other characters in the story. The lessons she taught Bud and his memories of her pervade the ideas of the plot, and she seems as real as if she were interacting with the characters in the story. Todd Amos and his parents. This is the foster family from whom Bud runs away after he is abused. They're typical of some foster families who had taken children just for the money the state would pay them. They often mistreated them, or at best, just ignored them. In this case, Todd is a terrible bully, and his parents deny his behavior is anything other than that of a victim. As a result, Bud is punished for having been beaten up by the older boys. This is the catalyst that sets him on his journey to find his father. Desi Malone. She's a young girl who teaches Bud how to do dishes in the cardboard jungle known as Hooverville. She gives him very wise advice about how to remember his mother, and even gives him his first kiss, telling him she'll see him 7 years, just like the characters in the song Shenandoah. Lefty Lewis. This is the very kind black man who picks Bud up along the road to Grand Rapids. He takes him to his daughter's home, where he is fed, given clean clothes, treated very nicely. He is a kind of courier who brings blood needed at hospitals and sneaks in union flyers to illegal organizations. He shows Bud basic kindness and compassion, 2 emotions he has felt little of in his life. Miss Grace Thomas. She is the vocal stylist of Herman Calloway's band, and he knew and loved Bud's mother, and even before she knows Bud's relationship to Mr. Calloway, she offers him a motherly love and comfort. Bud thinks she is very beautiful, and the music that comes out of her mouth is something so special that he is dazed by it. She believes that Bud is a godsend. Steady Eddie, the Thug, Dirty D, Doo-Doo Bug, and Mr. Jimmy. These are the band members who tease Bud unmercifully, but also show him how to be a good and loving person. They buy him his own saxophone and give him a name in a secret ceremony that makes him one of them. Bud is considered to be the protagonist in the story. There are several lying antagonists. The first is the foster home system, which often places children like Bud in unsuitable homes or warehouses or overcrowded orphanages. The second set of antagonists is the Amoses. This family tortures Bud for no reason other than they like to bully the foster children they bring into their home. The third antagonist, Mr. Calloway, who is convinced Bud is up to no good. He is a very unhappy man, and he has a hard time giving of himself. Bud must be patient and learn how to break down his defenses so they can be a family. The final antagonist is the unwritten laws of segregation that affects Mr. Calloway's right to own land and Bud's right to walk the streets at 2 a.m. It is a sad indictment of America in the early 20th century. The climax of the story is when Bud is forced to blurt out his mother's name and the band